Occasionally, too, the lad, who seemed about 10 years old, looked about him to right and left, questionably, anxiously, as though he expected someone to help or perhaps to meet him. His behavior even gave the impression that he was not quite sure of his way. The man hurried to overtake him. I really must give the little beggar a hand, he repeated to himself as he went. He smiled. The fatherly, protective side of him, naturally strong, was touched a little more, perhaps, than the occasion seemed to warrant. The smile broadened into a jolly laugh as he came up against the great stuffed bag now resting on the pavement, its owner panting beside it, still looking to right and left alternately, at which instant exactly the boy, hearing his step, turned round, and for the first time looked him full in the face with a pair of big blue eyes that held unabashed and happy welcome in them. "Oh, I say, sir, it's most awfully ripping of you," he said in a confiding voice, before the man had time to speak. "I hunted everywhere, but I never thought of looking behind me." But the man, standing dumb and astonished for a few seconds beside the little fellow, missed the latter sentence altogether, for there was in the clear blue eyes an expression so trustful, so frankly affectionate, almost, and in the voice music of so natural a kind, that all the tenderness in him rose like a sudden tide and yearned towards the boy as though he were his little son. Thought, born of some sudden revival of emotion, flashed back swiftly across a stretch of 12 blank years, and for an instant the lines of the mouth grew deeper, though in the eyes the light turned softer, brighter. "It's too big for you, my boy," he said, recovering himself with a jolly laugh. "Or rather, you're not big enough yet for it, eh? Where to now? Ah, the station, I suppose." And he stooped to grasp the handles of the bulging bag, first poking the spades more securely in beneath the straps, but in doing so became aware that something the boy had said had given him pain. What was it? Why was it? This stray little stranger met upon the London pavements. Yet so swift is thought that even while he stooped and before his fingers actually touched the leather, he had found what hurt him and smiled a little at himself. It was the mode of address the boy made use of, contradicting faintly the affectionate expression in the eyes. It was the word "sir" that made him feel like a schoolmaster or a tutor. It made him feel old. It was not the word he needed, and yes, had longed for, somehow almost expected. And there was such strange trouble in his mind and heart that as he grasped the bag, he did not catch the boy's rejoinder to his question. But of course, it must be the railway station. He was going to the seaside for Easter. His people would be at the ticket office waiting for him. Bracing himself a little for the effort, he seized the leather handles and lifted the bag from the ground. "Oh, thanks awfully, sir," repeated the boy. He watched him with a true schoolboy grin of gratitude, as though it were great fun, yet also with a true urgent sense that the proper thing had happened, since such jobs, of course, were for grown-up men. And this time, though he used the objectionable word again, the voice betrayed recognition of the fact that he somehow had a right to look to this particular man for help, and that this particular man only did the right and natural thing in giving help. But the man, swaying sideways, nearly lost his balance. He had calculated automatically the probable energy necessary to lift the weight. He had put this energy forth. He received a shock as though he had been struck, for the bag had no weight at all. It was as light as a feather. It might have been of tissue paper, a phantom bag. And the shock was mental as well as physical. His mind swayed with his body. "By Jove!" cried the boy, strutting merrily beside him, hands in his pockets. "Thanks most awfully. This is jolly."